Hey everybody, Coach Nikki here to introduce our next habit, and this one is a big one. This next 2 weeks, we will be practicing a stretch habit or an experimental habit, which means this is not something that you're expected to do for the rest of your life, unless you really want to. But it is something to keep in mind for the next 2 weeks to stretch you and to maybe take you to the edge of your comfort zone and see what you find as a little experiment. All right. So this next 2 weeks, we are going to be experimenting with eating only whole foods. So, what does that mean? Um, so, whole foods simply put are minimally processed foods. So, this would be things like fresh fruits and veggies, whole grains, where you can still see the whole grain, beans, legumes, minimally processed lean proteins. So, that would be things like chicken, steak, fish, and then also things like nuts and seeds. A really good rule of thumb for how, so if it's not very processed, if it's still a whole food, would be does it look like what it started out looking like? And the less it looks like that thing that it started with, the more processed it is. So a good quick example of that would be an orange versus orange juice, that kind of thing. So there are also a host of things that are not quite whole foods, but are minimally processed. And that might be things like canned tomatoes or bagged frozen shrimp or frozen veggies, just as an example of those kind of things, which would count as pretty close to a whole food. So, like I said before, this habit is not hard and fast forever, and it's also not meant to be exact. You can only have whole foods and nothing else, because how does that happen in today's modern world? That would be very difficult. It's possible. Some people do it, but it'd be very difficult. And I'm certainly not going to be banging on your door and checking to make sure what you have been eating, right? Um, so that's not what we're looking for. So you get to know that this is an experiment just for you to see sort of what you can see for yourself. So this might look different for different people. If you're a level 1 eater, then try some really basic substitutions that maybe you haven't had before or that you haven't done in a while. And just see if you can move a little bit closer down the continuum to whole foods. If you're a level 2 eater, then maybe you do want the challenge of seeing just how much you can go totally whole foods for the next 2 weeks and not have anything else. So that's up to you to see sort of what works best for you. And whatever you choose is okay. Just know that this is, like I said, a stretch habit. And so whatever you do choose, just know that it should be something that is a comfort, as a stretch for you, but also something that you can be excited about and energized about rather than just feel bogged down by. We'll be interested to hear how it goes. Let me know how you're feeling while you're out there, and talk to you soon.